Ever feel like your fuel tank empties way faster than it should? Like no matter how carefully you drive, the fuel gauge drops too quickly? Well, here's the truth most people never hear. Gas stations count on you not knowing how fuel really works. And because of that, you end up spending way more money than necessary. Today, we're breaking down the 9 biggest fuel-saving secrets gas stations will never tell you, because once you know these tricks, you instantly start saving money every time you fill up. No new gadgets, no special products, just smart habits they hope you never discover. Let's go straight into it. Secret 1: never fuel up. When the tanker truck is refilling the station, most drivers have no idea that the quality of fuel coming out of the pump changes dramatically when the underground tanks are being refilled. When the tanker truck arrives and starts pumping fresh fuel into the ground, it stirs up all of the accumulated sediment, moisture, rust particles, and dirt that settle at the bottom of those massive tanks. Even though gas stations have filtration systems, they are not sophisticated enough to catch all the contaminants. When this mixture gets churned up, it flows straight into your vehicle's tank if you choose to refuel at that moment. This can lead to rough idling, inefficient combustion, clogged injectors, and long-term engine issues that quietly eat away at your fuel economy. Gas stations will never warn you to avoid filling up during these periods because they don't want customers turning away. But avoiding the station while the tanker is on site is one of the simplest ways to ensure you're not getting dirty, diluted fuel that forces you to burn more to travel the same distance. Secret 2: the time of day you fill up has a huge impact on how much fuel you actually get. The temperature of the fuel you pump plays a much bigger role than most people realize. Fuel is sold by volume, not by density, and when it's warmer, it expands. That means you are effectively paying the same price for fuel that contains more vapor and less actual liquid energy. Early in the morning, the underground tanks are cooler, and the fuel is denser, giving you slightly more usable energy per gallon. In the afternoon, especially during sunny days when the ground has heated up, the fuel becomes less dense, and you unknowingly get less for your money. On top of that, gas stations frequently adjust their prices according to peak demand, with prices rising during busy daytime hours when commuters are out driving. Early mornings and late evenings typically offer cooler temperatures and lower prices, but gas stations prefer customers to be unaware of this because the majority of drivers fill up during expensive, warmer hours out of convenience. Understanding this alone can help you stretch your fuel budget further without changing anything about your driving habits. Secret 3: premium fuel is mostly a profit machine, not a performance booster. Premium fuel's biggest advantage is not to the consumer, but to the gas station. It costs them only marginally more to produce compared to regular unleaded. Yet they are able to mark up the price significantly and convince millions of drivers that premium automatically means better performance. Unless your car's manual specifically states that premium fuel is required, you gain almost nothing from using it. Modern engines come with advanced knock sensors that automatically adjust timing to prevent knocking even on regular fuel. Most cars that say premium recommended run perfectly fine on regular, with no drop in safety or reliability. Premium does not magically clean your engine better, and it does not improve fuel economy enough to justify the extra cost. Gas stations rely heavily on premium fuel sales because the profit margin is so high. They know many drivers fall for the myth that premium equals better for the engine, and they're more than happy to let you believe that, even though most cars will never take advantage of the higher octane rating. Switching to the correct fuel grade for your engine can save a significant amount over the life of your car. Secret 4: old or poorly calibrated pumps often deliver less fuel than what you pay for. Gas pumps are supposed to be calibrated regularly to ensure that the number on the screen matches the amount of fuel actually dispensed. However, older stations, especially smaller independent ones, sometimes let calibration slide for months or even years. Over time, pumps tend to drift in a direction that benefits the station, meaning they give slightly less fuel than what the display claims. Even a small discrepancy of 1 or 2%, repeated over dozens of fill-ups, can quietly drain a lot of money from your wallet. The problem is subtle, so most drivers never notice. You simply assume your tank filled up normally, but in reality, you received a little less than what you paid for. Newer or well-maintained stations are less likely to have this issue, and large, brand-name stations typically undergo more frequent inspections. Gas stations rarely mention anything about pump calibration because drawing attention to it would only encourage customers to choose stations with newer pumps, leaving older stations with reduced business. Secret 5. Using the fastest pump setting can make you lose fuel without realizing it. Most drivers pull the nozzle trigger all the way down to fill the tank as fast as possible, not realizing this habit might be costing them fuel. When fuel is pumped at high speed, it creates more vapor. Modern gas station pumps are designed to recapture this vapor for environmental reasons. But what that means for you is that a portion of the fuel you're paying for never actually enters your tank. Slower pump settings produce far less vapor, allowing more liquid fuel to settle properly in your tank. The difference is subtle but real. Over the course of months, it adds up to meaningful savings. Gas stations prefer high-speed pumping because it allows them to serve more customers in less time, increasing their overall revenue. They have no incentive to tell you that if you simply pump more slowly, you get slightly more tangible fuel for the exact same price. This is a classic example of how small habits, unnoticed by the average driver, quietly benefit the station more than the consumer. Secret 6. The low fuel warning light is designed to make you refuel sooner than necessary. One of the biggest psychological tricks built into modern vehicles is the early warning fuel light. Most drivers believe that when the light comes on, they are moments away from running out of gas. In reality, manufacturers program this light to illuminate long before the tank is truly near empty, often leaving several liters of usable fuel remaining. This is done partly for safety reasons, but also because fuel anxiety drives people into gas stations earlier and more frequently. Gas stations benefit greatly when drivers feel pressured to refuel urgently, especially when the first station they see might not be the cheapest option. Understanding that the warning light is conservative gives you the confidence to choose a station with better fuel quality or lower prices instead of rushing into the nearest, most expensive one. You don't need to drive dangerously low on fuel, but you also don't need to panic the moment the light comes on. Secret 7. Low tire pressure quietly steals fuel and sends you back to the pump more. Gas stations indirectly benefit when drivers neglect their tire pressure. Underinflated tires increase rolling resistance, forcing the engine to burn more fuel for the same amount of movement. Many drivers blame poor mileage on the quality of fuel or engine issues without realizing that the real culprit is often something as simple as a few PSI of lost air. The reason gas stations don't highlight this is because low tire pressure means more frequent visits to the pump, and that leads to higher fuel sales. To make matters worse, many stations charge for air, even though in many places they are legally required to provide it for free if you've purchased fuel. Keeping your tires properly inflated is one of the most effective and effortless ways to extend your fuel range, reduce engine strain, and save money. It takes only a couple of minutes but makes a noticeable difference in how long a full tank lasts. Secret 8. Gas stations quietly raise prices before weekends and holidays. Most drivers think gas prices rise randomly, but there's a predictable pattern behind it, and it's not in your favor. Gas stations, especially those near major roads or busy neighborhoods, often raise prices right before weekends and holidays because they know people travel more during these times. As demand increases, even slightly, stations take advantage of it by increasing prices even when wholesale fuel costs haven't changed. They rely on the average driver being in a hurry, too distracted to compare prices, or simply unaware that weekday prices are usually lower. It's not a coincidence that prices tend to be highest on Thursday evenings and Friday mornings. During long weekends, some stations begin increasing prices up to 48 hours earlier. On top of that, stations near highways or tourist areas tend to keep prices inflated because they know travelers are less likely to search for cheaper options. Meanwhile, stations located a few blocks inland or away from high traffic roads often sell fuel at a noticeably lower price because they depend more on local customers who know the area. Gas stations never publicly acknowledge this behavior, but understanding this pattern helps you save significantly over time simply by avoiding impulse fills before peak travel days. Secret 9. Gas stations count on you. Ignoring loyalty discounts at competing stations. Gas stations rarely tell you that their biggest competitors often offer loyalty programs or monthly discounts that can reduce fuel costs dramatically. The truth is that loyalty deals from grocery stores, warehouse clubs, and certain card companies can cut fuel prices by 10 to 30 cents per gallon. Many drivers don't use them because gas stations are designed to distract you with convenience. They make it easy to pull in, refuel, and leave without comparing alternatives. Stations also use clever placement to keep you loyal to the nearest brand. They install bright LED price signs to grab your attention, making you think you're getting a good deal even when the station across the street is cheaper once discounts are applied. They rely on the fact that most drivers won't bother signing up for loyalty cards or downloading an app, even though doing so may save hundreds of dollars a year for the average commuter. Another trick is offering small discounts that expire quickly, forcing customers to return sooner before the discount window closes. Meanwhile, grocery chains and warehouse clubs consistently offer larger savings because they earn profit from their stores, not from fuel. Gas stations simply hope you're too busy to notice that better deals exist elsewhere. If you found these fuel-saving secrets helpful, hit like and share this video with someone who fills up every week. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Drive smart, save money, and keep your fuel where it belongs, in your tank, not in the gas station's cash register.